Beat the Devil was a 1953 crime film starring Humphrey Bogart. I have to be completely honest about this one. I honestly have no idea what was going on throughout this film. Maybe this was just over my head, and I really didn't make an effort to closely follow the plot, but I just didn't understand anything that was happening in this film. But I still enjoyed it, nevertheless. I mean, there's some great acting in the film. But I just got to say, once the film ended, it made even less sense to me. You know, I read through a lot of the reviews, and I understand that this is intended to be a spoof of the genre of international intrigue movies, and it contains a lot of dry wit. Maybe I'm just not versed enough to understand the subtlety of this film. But to be fair, you know, I'm stepping back into films from 70 years ago and greater, so give me the benefit of the doubt here. If I don't completely understand what makes some of these films so witty or what makes them qualify as a spoof, you know, I'm an optimistic explorer, but I don't always get it. And that was really the case with Beat the Devil. I like the acting, I like the actors, the characters. Didn't understand the plot for a minute. Now, some of the positives. It's great seeing Humphrey Bogart again. I always enjoy seeing him. He does look a little more haggard, a little older, but I always enjoy Bogart in everything. And the footage of this being filmed around Italy, I thought was really visually very enjoyable to watch. Now, I'll try to give a summary of the plot, but probably won't do it any justice at all. The film opens up, like I mentioned, in Italy, with Bogart playing the character, Billy Dan Ruther, who as usual has this world weariness look to him. And like I mentioned, he looks considerably older, a little more tired than his days as Rick in Casablanca. And I think he was nearing the end of his life at this point, because he just doesn't look as healthy as usual. His character in the film is married to the character Maria, who's played by the lovely Gina Lollobrigida, an actress I had never heard of. I actually first found out about her as her picture is prominently on display at the local Italian restaurant in town. I kid you not. She's on the wall right there with other Italian actors. She looks to be about 30 years younger than Bogart, but, you know, while in town listening to a band play, he strikes up a conversation with Gwendolyn Chelm, who is played here by Jennifer Jones, the actress from Love is a Many Splendored Thing, which is another William Holden film I'm going to get around to reviewing one of these days. And pretty soon Billy moves on from Maria to romance her instead. That kind of gets into one of the things of the plot I didn't follow, is why he was romantically involved with her, but soon Billy is in talks with the local gang in town, these criminals who are headed up by the character Peterson, who's played by Robert Morley. He was briefly in The African Queen as a missionary character. And also Peter Lorre is there as the character O'Hara. Now, another note, I didn't think there was enough Peter Lorre in this film, because I think he's a great actor. I love his stuff, but it felt like he had maybe 2 or 3 lines throughout the film. Anyhow, these criminals have a scheme to buy up this uranium-rich land in East Africa. So this band of criminal characters, they eventually make their way to Africa, but on the way their boat starts to sink and they wind up washed up on the shores of the African coast and captured by Arabs on horseback. I won't go much more into the plot because I honestly didn't follow it at all. I'll just say, check this one out for the acting. If you catch the story, leave some comments and you can let me know what I'm missing here. This was directed by John Huston, and I believe it was written by Truman Capote. And I've loved other films by John Huston, by the way, especially his collaborations with Bogart, like The Treasure of Sierra Madre and African Queen. This one, I tried to appreciate it. Maybe a future viewing of it will help, but I just found parts of the film to be not only confusing, but also parts could be really annoying to get through, such as the scene on the boat as they're traveling to Africa when that self-playing piano just won't stop. Or when the boat is sinking and the Italian captain just keeps yelling. I mean, maybe that was done for laughs. I just didn't get it. It was cool to see, very briefly, actor Bernard Lee, who plays M in the James Bond films. He shows up in just a very minor role as an inspector with Scotland Yard near the end of the film. But as I mentioned before, when you get to the end, the resolution makes very little sense. So again, I don't want to keep harping on this because I do try to keep my reviews positive. I did like the acting. I like seeing some of these big actors I've seen in many other films. I love the filming throughout Italy. It looked great. And it was neat to see Gina Lollobrigida, who I've heard of, actually see her in a film. She's a very glamorous actress. But as far as the story goes, couldn't follow this. Maybe it just takes a higher caliber of film appreciation to really get into this one, and maybe that's just not me. In any case, the film is in the public domain, so check it out for yourself. Let me know if it's just me. They do have currently an inferior print of this film on Amazon Prime, so if you want to check it out, it's there. You can also find it online for free because it's public domain, and if you're sophisticated enough and can help explain this one to me, I'd love to hear it. So that's Beat the Devil from 1953. Reluctantly go check this one out.